So after understanding vrittis, and in the previous sutra, Patanjali expounded that vrittayaha panchatayaha klishta aklishtaha. But the vrittis are of 5 kinds, and then they are klishta and aklishta. They are klishta because they rise from the kleshas, painful. And aklishta, they are not painful. But both are to be removed. Nirodhaha. So each vritti has klishta and aklishta, though they fall under the 5 kinds. So what are these vrittis? Patanjali names them, or in fact a detailed description, exposition comes from the next sutra, which we shall take up. The 5 vrittis are pramana viparyaya vikalpa nidrat smrtayaha. Pramana viparyaya vikalpa nidra smrtayaha. Pramana, true, right, correct knowledge, right knowledge, an acceptable knowledge, that is pramana. Viparyaya, wrong or incorrect information or knowledge. Vikalpa is a fantasy, imagination. Nidra, sleep, of course, without dream, a dreamless sleep. Smrtayaha is, smriti is memory, smrtayaha, memories, plural for smriti. So pramana, the right knowledge, correct knowledge. Viparyaya, the wrong or the incorrect knowledge. It can be knowledge or information, both for pramana and for viparyaya. Vikalpa is fantasies, imaginations. Nidra is a sound sleep. In Vedanta, we hear the name Sushupti. But the definition of Sushupti and Nidra, as per Maharishi Patanjali, they are slightly different. Smriti is memory. Smrtayaha is all the memories. So this is the 6th sutra of the Samadhipada, where the vrittis have been named. We should slightly understand, vrittis have been classified, their qualities was given in the earlier sutra, and now the vrittis have been named. So naming of the vrittis, classification of the vrittis, and their qualities. This is how Maharishi Patanjali is very, very systematic, very scientific, and very practical and very clear exposition guides the sadhaka into a proper direction. In fact, it is as if a mother holds the hand of a child and takes care of the child's growth. Patanjali does the same. And the seventh sutra also we shall take up, which says, which defines and gives various dimensions, clarification on the pramana. The seventh sutra is Pratyakshanumanagamah pramanani. Pratyakshanumanagamah pramanani. Pratyaksha anumana agamaha pramanani. Very simple words in Sanskrit. Pratyaksha, anumana, agamaha, pramanani. So in the previous sutra, in the sixth sutra, the vrittis have been named, and now Patanjali takes up describing, expounding each of those vritti. And the first vritti was Pratyaksha, Anumana, Agamaha, is called Pramanani. So what is Pramana? Pramana in Sanskrit, of course, it is a very beautiful word. Pramiyate iti prama, and pramayaha karanam pramanam. Pramiyate iti prama. Prami is destroying. And pramana, pramayaha karanam pramanam. That which destroys is called as Prama, comes from the word Prami, destroys ignorance, removes illusions, or gives correct knowledge. That is Prama. That which gives that. Pramayaha karanam pramanam. So that is how Pramana has been defined. Right, correct, clear knowledge without any errors. The experience, the knowledge and the information has no errors, error-free knowledge. And pramana vritti it is. We should remember it's a pramana vritti. Similarly, it was viparya vritti, vikalpa vritti. All are vrittis. And all these are having klishta and aklishta. So pramana vritti also has a klishta and aklishta. Viparya vritti also has a klishta and aklishta. Similarly, vikalpa, nidra and smriti. And all these five vrittis, they rise from the chitta. They are not chitta itself. They originate from the chitta. Pramana vritti originates in chitta. Viparya vritti originates in chitta. Vikalpa vritti originates from chitta. So, pramana defined, described in the seventh sutra as we just read. Pratyaksha, Anumana, Agamaha, Pramanani. Pratyaksha, very beautiful word. Prati Aksha it is called. Aksha is I. Prati is in front of or just opposite. So Pratyaksha is that which is in front of the eye. Just for understanding what is seen. Pratyaksha is what is seen. Directly cognized, directly seen. We should remember, Pratyaksha is the knowledge or the information from the Jnanendriya. It is from the eye. Just for our understanding, Jnanendriyas rise from Manaha and Karmendriyas rise from the Ahankara. So Jnanendriyas rising from the Manas, Aksha is the eye, the Jnanendriya. And what is seen or presented or what is observed through the eye is Pratyaksha, and it is a Pramana, Pratyaksha Pramana. But Pratyaksha Pramana is not always correct because it is a vritti. And this vritti has to be removed. And vritti has to be eliminated because it can be klishta and aklishta. That's why pramana, though it is authenticated, authoritative, but still it is a vritti. But as it is said that pratyaksha is direct contact to the eye, but still came in direct contact with eye, but it is still not direct, because after seeing through the eye, there can be interpretations within inside. And Pratyaksha is called as direct because the other Jnanendriyas, the knowledge comes from the other Jnanendriyas, are not directly in touch with it. Because we may listen a sound of a dog barking. We have only heard the sound of dog, but we cannot come to the conclusion that the dog is there. Dog may not be there, but sound is heard. But just because sound is heard, we cannot come to the conclusion the dog is there. That's why the information and the knowledge through the other Jnanendriyas are not Pratyaksha. It is only through the eye it is Pratyaksha. That's why the Aksha is important. And after Pratyaksha, the second Pramana is the Anumana, inference. You infer. That is, when we heard that there is a sound of the dog barking, we may infer that the dog is there. But as we saw earlier, it can be wrong. That's why Anumana can be right, can be wrong. It is like a smoke and a fire. This is a traditional example given for the Anumana. Anumana, following what is seen, and you conclude after seeing or after you get the information, you come to the conclusion. And this coming to the conclusion is based on what is seen or what is heard or what is information we got it. And it is something like a deduction. Deduction on the knowledge already we have. That is called Anumana. We know that fire generates smoke. If we do not know that the fire generates smoke, even if we see the smoke or if we smell the smoke, we cannot come to the conclusion that there was fire. So Anumana depends on previous knowledge. Anumana depends on prior experience. Anumana is based on an experience, an information, a knowledge which was already, we have it. So that is why Anumana. So pratyaksha, anumana. And the third is the agama. Agama is a traditional knowledge, an established flow of knowledge. And the agama comes through a shastra, a textbook. Agama can come through a guru vakyam. Agama can come through a apta vakyam. An information and the knowledge from a reliable person, a reliable source. That is called as agama. A knowledge, an information, say in Bhagavad Gita, a knowledge and information, say we received from an elderly person. A knowledge and information we received from our own teacher, a guru, an instructor, is taken as pramana. But it is agama pramana, like pratyaksha pramana, like anumana pramana. This is agama pramana, a knowledge which comes through an experience or through a traditional established source, a reliable source. And that is how pramana has been defined and discussed. Agama pramana, anumana pramana, and pratyaksha pramana. In these three things, anumana and agama are not direct, as we have seen. They both depend on some other experience, some other information, or we have to refer to something else. They are deducted, coming to a conclusion. And a blind person can never have a pratyaksha, literally speaking, because there is no aksha. If a blind person has not seen water at all, he cannot project a mirage in a desert. And that is how pratyaksha pramana, anumana pramana and agama pramana have to be understood. Nowadays we find so much of information and knowledge is flowing through our mobiles, WhatsApps, TV channels. We do not know what is right, what is correct, what is the deduction. And many times we find social disturbances, social violence, and within ourselves, among our own relationships, human relations gets disturbed, human relations gets torn, human relations gets violent, because we are not clear of the information, of the knowledge, and we take it granted as it is pramana. It's right, but we don't refer it is right or wrong. So this sutra has a tremendous, most important practical dimension also. What is seen, even what is seen directly, may not be correct. And what is taken for granted as an agama may not be correct. Even the information which come to the conclusions may prove to be wrong at the later stage. Because of all these inaccuracies, because of all these complications built within that, we should remember it is a vritti. It creates klishta. So it is to be removed. Entire pramana has to be negated. And that is how first sutra conveys that Maharshi Patanjali direction, exposition that pramana vritti has to be eliminated, suppressed and removed. Nirodha it is. So, pratyaksha anumanagama pramanani. The knowledge comes from direct experience, inference, and through authentic, reliable sources is termed as pramana, but we shall conclude by saying even that is to be eliminated and suppressed. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.